Hello, everyone. It is the 27th, and we're almost at the end of February, which, hey, we've nearly survived all of February and January. So we're doing pretty good at this whole surviving 2024 thing, sort of. Sometimes, to be honest. Some days are going better for others. A New Jersey man who chopped down neighbors' trees for a better view of New York City was fined $13,000 and faces $1 million bill. Sir, maybe you should have just they have posters of New York City. I'm just, throwing this out there for a friend. Hello, Flash friend or Flash fan. Sorry. I'm throwing this out there for, as a friend, but sir, they have poster boards. They even have pictures where you can light them up. They have little blinky lights in them, but now you're gonna be paying $1,013,000 for cutting down those trees. A security executive who hacked off his New Jersey borough last year by cutting down his neighbor's trees without a permit has to pay $13,000, a judge ruled, but Grant Harbor still has yet to get to the root of the problem. Local prospectors say damages could exceed or local prosecutors, not prospectors, they're searching for gold. Welcome Phoenix Fire and Wolfram and Jude. Local prosecutors say damages could exceed $1 million after he's forced to pay for the replacement and care of the felled trees. Harbor cut a plea deal that saw him fined for just 18 of the 32 trees that he paid a contractor to axe last March in wealthy uh, Kinlington, look, New Jersey, places I have never been to, okay? Look, their Walmart's probably super classy too. It's got all organic. Without the deal, he would have faced a fine of $32,000 plus a trespassing charge. Haber, who declined to comment at the hearing, according to the Daily Record, allegedly cleared the forest so that he could have a better view of the New York City skyline from his 5-bed, 6-bath, $5,000 or 5,000 square foot colonial mansion. Oh my gosh, 6 bathrooms to clean. I hope you don't have 3 boys. After the controversy, Haber made like a tree and left town. Property records show he sold his home last November for a cool 1.8 million, 500,000 more than what he paid for it in 2014. Neighbors whose property was denuded told the record that he's never going to be 100% satisfied, even though it's been a year since he arrived home to a chorus of chainsaws carving their way through his 7-acre property. Quote, I always use the analogy that if you hire someone to put a hit out on someone, they're just as liable as the person who did it. Semhi Singway said after the hearing, dude, it's still just trees, okay? It's not like he put a hit out on your ficus plant, all right? The case of the trees went viral last June after a friend of the borough arborist posted a thread on X that detailed the incident. Quote, a friend who is a municipal arborist just called to tell me about a guy who cut down 32 big mature trees on his neighbor's New Jersey property to get a better view of New York City. User Sam As I Am wrote, well, I mean, he looks like a kinda douchey guy that would pay someone to cut down trees. I mean, to be honest, this is not allegedly. Sir, you do have resting douche face. You also look like you really understood trigonometry, and that just bothers me. He hired a guy who hired another guy, cut them down, and left debris there, he continued. I hope whoever this ass is can't pay, and they lien and sell his property, the value of which he probably figured would be increased so much that a $32,000 fine was worth it to cover the cost. The thread went viral, collecting more than 4.2 million views since it was published. Next up for Haber, a judge in the Morris County town will decide how much restitution he owes at a hearing scheduled for April 19th. On Monday, Haber, CEO of an anti-terrorism company, told the court he would pay the fine within 30 days. I would just love to have 15K like lying around in my other bra. Hey, Fannie Willis, hit me up. I'm just saying, if you have cash laying around from your election and you want it fungible to me, I got your back, sister. I will keep all of your fungible cash and only use it for my for-profit charity. What a dingus. In other news, to keep up on the royals, the palace gives an update on Kate Middleton's health as Prince William mysteriously skips a royal event. Kate Middleton is on the mend following her recent abdominal surgery. Kensington Palace said in a statement on Tuesday that the Princess of Wales, 42, is, quote, doing well and is recovering at her home in Adeline College in Windsor, England. The update comes as Prince William was set to attend a ceremony that honored his late godfather, King Constantine II of Greece. The Duke of Cambridge, 41, had to bow out at the last minute due to quote unquote personal reasons. No further details as to why he missed the memorial service were given. Look, I didn't want to let you guys know this, but he's getting a toupee. A really good one. I'm just kidding. You rock that bald, mister. You're gonna be the next king. Despite William skipping the event, other members of the royal family gathered to commemorate the life of late Greek monarch at Windsor Castle, including Queen Camilla, Prince Andrew, Sarah Ferguson, Princess Beatrice, and her husband, Eduardo Malippi Mozzi. Could these people just have Smith? Princess Anne and Zara Tyndale and her husband Mike Tyndale. Earlier this month, William attended the 2024 BAFTA Film Awards at Royal Albert Hall on February 18th without Middleton. The royal has been present at the BAFTA since 2010 and stopped by the star-studded event with the Duchess of Wales in 2023. Body language expert. Well, we need to know what they said. Darren Stanton said that the father of three appeared confident, even without Middleton by his side. Quote, William was relaxed, or in a relaxed emotional state, Stanton said on behalf of Betfair Slingo. I have no idea what that is. I'm hoping it's a magazine. Otherwise, that sounds like a terrible drug that I don't want to take. He spent a lot of time speaking to the public where he showed great eye contact and was happy to shake hands, which is a break in royal protocol. This is something we never saw the late Queen Elizabeth do. It's clear William wants a more relaxed monarchy and wants to be part of the people, he said. The Duchess of Cambridge is reportedly, quote, making steady progress as she recuperates after her January 16th medical procedure. Just a month after her surgery, she took a vacation to Firm's Sandringham Estate in Norfolk, England for some fresh air. That's where I usually go. I always go to my out-of-town estate when I need fresh air. Royal expert Jenny Bond noted that the trip had been, quote, a most welcome change for her since she left the hospital on January 29th. Quote, one of the great beauties of Norfolk is that it's so accessible from London, she told OK Magazine. I think it's very encouraging that Kate has been well enough to make the trip to Sandringham. It shows that she's making a steady recovery. And welcome Erin, Olivia, and Becca Lynn, and Squat Bob. Let's see. Bond added, the same four walls must get a bit tedious when you're recuperating as she is. So there you go. Now, I didn't particularly watch this show, but Chris Gaither, once upon a time star and Hallmark movie actor, died at 48. Look, my mom probably knows this guy. She is a Hallmark aficionado, okay? Chris Gaither, an actor whose credits include roles in Once Upon a Time, Eureka, and several popular Hallmark Channel projects, died on February 23rd, according to a statement posted by his agent. He was 48. His representative also confirmed the news to CNN. Quote, "We can confirm that our friend and client, Chris Gaither, passed away on Friday morning, February 23rd, at the age of 48 after a brief illness. As a beloved character actor, Chris shared his talents with so many of us on television and film," read a statement provided to CNN by TriStar Appearances Event Horizon Talent. Quote, "His loss is felt not just by his fans, but by those of us who are lucky enough to know him more personally. On behalf of his family, we ask for privacy during this time so that they are able to grieve properly." His agent, Chad Cloven, shared memories in a Facebook post, writing, quote, "This still doesn't feel real. How can it? A world without you is a much darker place." So much of that when his so much so that when his wife reached out to me yesterday with the news, I wept tears of disbelief for hours. It's taken me until now to fully mentally and emotionally steel myself to write this. Colvin wrote on Sunday, "I wish we could have been a bit or had a bit more time together and that you understood the difference you made, not just in my life, but in all those you touched. This world is a bit smaller and colder now with you or now without you in it." Colvin noted that Gaither worked on shows like Smallville and Supernatural, and as well as his performance as William Smee on Once Upon a Time. I have no idea. I'm a jerk face today, what can I say? I forgot him as Smee. The English-born Canadian actor was also mourned by his Once Upon a Time co-star, Raphael Sbarge. Quote, "A sweeter, happier soul would be hard to find," Sbarge wrote in a caption of a group photo he posted on his verified Instagram account. "A man of consummate character, generosity, and great talent, he was someone who cared deeply, loved his art, and was always kind to everyone he met." Some of Gaither's other credits include TV shows A Series of Unfortunate Events and Joe Pickett, as well as several Hallmark TV movies, including Miss Christmas Comes to Town. Quote, "We are sorry to hear about the passing of Chris Gaither. Our thoughts are with his family, friends, and fans." Uh, Kellogg, maybe this wasn't the right pitch. I'm just saying, like, don't tell poor people, "Hey, poors, have you thought about cereal for dinner? We understand these times are trying, but we have you covered. Not when you're $8 a box. We will still go for generic great value. Special K." There you go. Shoppers call out Kellogg CEO's, quote, "cereal for dinner" pitch for struggling families. Yeah, read the room. Kellogg's year-old campaign promoting cereal for dinner got some new life last week after the company's CEO, Gary Pilnick, mentioned it seems to be landing really well with American consumers. Sir, you dingus. His remarks made in a live interview with CNBC caught the attention of some shoppers whose response have been anything but great. I mean, honest to God, it's you coulda just said, "Hey, pores, we got your back. If you get tired of government cheese, have you thought about cereal?" For the love of all that is Cheetos, sir, read a room. Quote, "Advertising cereal for dinner, is that the way to deal with steep cost of groceries right now?" Pilnick said. "If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they'd otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable." End quote. The interview followed news from Wall Street Journal that showed Americans are spending 10% more or more of their in or 10% or more of their income on food, the most they have spent in 30 years. Previous reporting from USA Today highlights that the average family is spending more than $1,000 on groceries each month. Quote, the cereal category has always been quite affordable. Sir, your boxes of cereal are $8 a box, so hell no, they're not. And we will go to great value, you dingus. Pilnick said Kellogg, which owns cereals like Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Corn Flakes, and Raisin Bran, quote, tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure, Pilnick added, adding that the price of cereal with milk and fruit is less than $1. Pilnick was asked if he thought his comments would sit well with Americans. Quote, it's landing really well, Pilnick said, as he realized he was, just chumming that water to get his ass kicked, you know, online. Pilnick said, showing that 25% of cereal consumption is outside the quote unquote breakfast window anyway. Now, look, I can take down my own box of frosted mini wheats. No lie. Like a wounded gazelle, I am on that thing. But perhaps, making light of the fact that people are really struggling with groceries by saying, hey, poors, we got your back. Especially when your boxes of cereal are, daggone near $10, may not be the best thing for you to say. Quote, cereal for dinner is something that is probably more on trend now, and we would expect that to continue as the consumer is under pressure. End quote. Well, how did customers react to Pilnick's cereal for dinner remarks? The Cereal for Dinner campaign, which ends with the slogan, quote, give chicken the night off, began over a year ago as Americans were feeling the effect of higher inflation at the grocery store. Food prices increased by 9.9% in 2022, faster than any year since 1979, according to the Economic Research Service with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That number includes foods consumed outside the home. In home food increased by 11.4% last year. The internet isn't really reacting favorably to Pilnick's comments, however. Who'da thunk it? Quote, this fool is making $4 million a year. Do you think he's feeding his kids cereal for dinner? One TikTok user said in a video response circulating online. Pilnick's annual income includes a $1 million base salary and over $4 million in incentive compensation, according to a September 2023 SEC filing published by Business Insider. Quote, and how you think customers became under pressure, TikTok user James Lee said, quote, it's companies like Kellogg's who use the excuse of inflation in order to price gouge customers. Yes and no. And it seems like the company is, quote, enriching its shareholder, Lee said. I could get a frozen family lasagna for that. Comments under the video responses of the news vary, but many have to do with how expensive Kellogg's cereal brands actually are. Cereal is like $5 to $8 per box now. He thinks we're still buying it for breakfast, let alone dinner. Laughing, crying face. One user commented. Another adding that, quote, the family sized box is $10 with milk. That's $3. I could get a frozen family lasagna for that, end quote. Cereal is almost $9 a box now. I can get a rotisserie chicken, bag rice, and a bag of frozen broccoli for that, wrote another. In other words, the math isn't mathing, consumers say. Not at all showed not all showed disdain over Pilnick's remarks, though. Some comments under the CNBC video supported the idea. Quote, that's what we did during difficult times in my childhood, one user wrote. There's no need to feel offended. Well, actually, he's right. And having some Special K for dinner is healthier than McDonald's for dinner, another wrote. And classic oatmeal without sugar and some real fruits are even better. So there you go. Ole Anderson, original Four Horsemen member, is dead at 81. Now, you guys know I don't know a lot about wrestling, but I know some people do know about wrestling. Pro wrestling legend Ole, I'm going to say Ollie or Ole. Look, I don't know. Anderson passed away on Monday. Friends and family members reveal he was 81 years old. Anderson, whose real name was Alan Rogowski, was best known for his role as one of the members of the original Four Horsemen faction. The group consisted of Anderson, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, and Tully Blanchard. He was considered one of the biggest heels, and Anderson was widely respected for his work in the business. Ole Anderson's passing is a somber moment for the wrestling world, former wrestler Ricky Morton wrote on Instagram. He was not just a colleague, he was a formidable opponent, a respected veteran, and part of wrestling history. Our battles in the ring were intense, and memories we created together will always be cherished. Morton added, while his passing leaves a void in the wrestling community, Anderson's legacy will live on through the impact he made on the sport and the memories he shared with fans and fellow wrestlers, as well as all of the shirtless pics that he has just on the internets. The Horsemen were one of the most legendary groups in professional wrestling history while performing in the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship, then the World Champion Wrestling. Quote, I am forever thankful to Ole and Gene for bringing me into Crockett Promotions as a cousin, Flair wrote on X. It launched my career. I will be grateful forever for you giving me the opportunity to become who I am. We didn't always agree with each other, but the honest to God truth is that you and Gene started me. Rest in peace, my friend. Anderson retired from the ring in 1987, but did return to reform the Horsemen in 1989 before retiring again shortly thereafter. Oh, that is some hair. He became the head of the WCW booking committee in 1990 following his retirement. Quote, the WWE is saddened to learn that Ole Anderson passed away. WWE extends its condolences to the Andersons' family, friends, and fans. WWE said in a statement on X. The AEW and wrestling world mourn the passing of legendary Ole Anderson, and our thoughts are with his family, friends, and his fans, said AEW in a statement on their own Monday night. They're also like, please stop talking about Vince McMahon and all of that stuff that he may or may not have done. In other news, I'm sure you're shocked, but adults just want to have fun. Why people are seeking refuge in toys and experiences again. After years of stress following the coup, it appears that many adults are coping by renewing their childhood joy. Nunya, I have no idea. To be very fair, I did not get into wrestling. Uh, in an enclave of the iconic FAO Schwartz uh, toy store in New York, workers donning aprons and paper hats take customers' orders for popular diner items. Burgers, hot dogs, pizza, and more are offered with a hefty $45 price tag each, but the items aren't edible. They're plushies. What? And Jellycat, the company behind the popular toy, is behind the activation. On TikTok, millions have watched videos about the Jellycat Diner helping turn it into a destination for tourists of all ages in the city. The activation, which opened last September, has also served as a window into a type of experience more and more adults are gravitating towards. After surviving the coup, inflation, and all the things, many adults, particularly Gen Zers and millennials, appear to be leaning into a nostalgic form of escapism play. Okie dokie. Quote, in generations before us, I feel like a childhood essence was taken away really early, said Taylor Salesman 21, who works at Jellycat Diner. You had this idea to get out of high school, to go to college, to go to work, to start your family, whatever. You're 21, ma'am. You have no idea what real life is. I love you. You're sweet. I'm sure you're a great little sweet 21-year-old, but you don't know what life is, okay? But, you can still be a professional and love plushies. I feel like we're getting out of older ideas of what being adults are. No, we're just creating kidults, which is terrifying. Salesman said that she thinks a lot of people in her generation need, quote, something to be happy about. She said stuffed animals like jelly cats and or squashmallows have brought a lot of comfort to young people, including herself. The desire for adult play goes beyond just toys, though. Look, NBC News, you're probably right, but that sentence is hilarious. Some experts say that people have returned to activities such as sports or crafts that encourage this sense of fun. Pickleball, for example, a mix of tennis, racquetball, and ping pong, has been embraced by millions of Americans of all ages in recent years. Lisa Forbes, an assistant clinical professor in a counseling program at the University of Colorado, Denver, said that this is because people are realizing, quote, life is more than work, end quote, and that they shouldn't have to wait for retirement to have fun. Play is often misunderstood as, quote, silly, frivolous, and something that kids do, Forbes said. However, it has proven benefits for adults. Listen, Mr. Mo, I have to play with all of these Legos and buy more. It's for my mental health and stuff. For seriousness. Like helping them cope with anxiety and boosting their moods, it doesn't have to involve certain activities, she said. Rather, it's a mindset. Forbes, Forbes defines play as, quote, a lighthearted approach to life where you can reframe a situation so that it is experienced in an interesting or entertaining way. Interesting. People that are playful tend to be more flexible and creative and have the ability to find more joy in life, even in mundane things that people kind of take for granted or see as negative, she said. Andy Davies, global head of strategy at the branding agency Bulletproof, credits the Barbie movie with helping to re-inspire adults to return to interests they liked as children. The 2023 movie, which was horrible. Have a wonderful evening, Erin Olivia, which received critical acclaim and was a massive box office miss. I mean, hit helped kick off a slurry of quote unquote girlhood trends that women engaged in to recapture the joys of their youth. Audiences dressed up all in pink and bought Barbie themed memorabilia, unlocking a childlike joy that's been dormant for many. It was engaging in conversations in interesting ways, said Davies. There's a huge benefit not only to the escapism that play provides, but the ability to go back to that notion of childhood, of being able to explore things that are uncomfortable. No, no, Barbie should have been a cool kids show, not Dear Lord feminism. Play also serves as a tool to help people understand and cope with difficult topics. Davies said, Barbie, she said, allowed some viewers to explore issues of feminism, patriarchy, and adulthood through playful story and cinematic world and gave some women the space to feel and discuss the issue at a time. No one cares. Playfulness can also bring people together and develop a community. Many adults showed up in large groups to see concerts by artists like Taylor Swift and trade friendship bracelets with fellow attendees. According to Forbes, adults across generations need to lean into playing more. See, she suggested that people start developing a playful mindset. All right, I'm going to start playing Ding Dong Ditch with all of my neighbors. I'm just kidding. Uh, Having more fun approach to tasks such as meetings or daily commutes. I can see how many people I can flip off on my way to school. Just saying. One way Forbes does this is by challenging herself to avoid cracks in the sidewalk on the way to her office because you will break your mother's back. That's not, play. That's an urban myth. You don't want to get your mom's back broken? That's terrible. Quote, adult life is really stressful and really serious, she said. Play is a way to kind of even that out so we don't get to a point of burnout and where our health is really taking a toll. Look, just start looking at everything with a helpful level of absurdism. Helps me. But look, I tend to use dark humor and sarcasm to cope with things, so don't take anything from me. I don't write things. From gold records to gold coins, George Michael is now honored with a commemorative minting. There you go. I will say, my first non-Alex Trebek crush might have been, George Michael, and he might not have ever been interested in me. You've gotta have more than quote unquote "faith" to pocket the new George Michael coin. Good evening, JKD Buck. A commemorative minting of coins that rolled out on Monday ranged in price from a couple of banknotes to a small fortune as the late musician continues to rack up posthumous honors after his death. A silver colored version stamped by the Royal Mint with Michael's likeness and trademark aviator style sunglasses, complete with his blow dried locks and razor stubble he sported in the video for the song Faith, starts at 1550 pounds or $19.66 and rises as high as 5,305 pounds or $6,728 for a limited edition 2-ounce or 56-gram coin or golden coin. You know, I like you, George, but not that much. Michael, who died in 2006. Oh gosh, has it already been that long? I swear it was just last year that he was in that little police costumes with the very short shorts doing that song that was all over everywhere. And welcome, Graceful Klutz, who died in 2016 at 53, had a banner year in 2023. Last summer, Netflix released Wham!, a well-received documentary about the pop musical duo uh, Michael started with Andrew Ridgeley. I always wondered what the other guy in Wham! Was named. I was like, not George Michael or not daggone it. Yes. I always get George Michael and Boy George mixed up, and they have nothing to do whatsoever with each other. That's just how my mind works. In the fall, Michael, who had a hugely successful solo career after the band split up, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And 4 decades after Wham's Last Christmas was released. It topped UK's Christmas charts in December. George Michael Entertainment said it was deeply honored by the new coins. Quote, he would have been enormously proud and genuinely touched that a national institution should have decided to pay tribute to his memory in this way, it said in a statement. The Mint has previously created commemorative coins for David Bowie, Elton John, the Rolling Stones, and Queen. And welcome, atheist aunt. And, sir, you're going directly to Snake Island, not to professional bowling class. A pro bowler was arrested mid-game during the 2024 US Open, accused of purchasing child grossness material. He does look like one that would maybe have purchased. A professional bowler from Ohio was arrested midway through a game during the US Open tournament in Indiana, because of course he did. It would be Indiana, but he's not from here. Let's see. Has been extradited back to his home state where he will face a spate of charges for allegedly transacting in child grossness material. Brandon L. Novak was taken into custody earlier this month and charged with 5 counts of pandering child grossness involving a minor and 10 counts of illegal use of just child grossness, records reviewed by Law and Crime show. According to a report from CNN, Novak in January was indicted by an Ohio grand jury. The case first garnered attention by the manner in which Novak was arrested. YouTube channel 11th Frame posted footage of from Bowl TV of Novak in the midst of a game on February 1st at the 2024 US Open at Royal Pin Woodland in Indianapolis. Novak was reportedly in the 7th frame of his second game when 2 agents with the U.S. Marshals Service entered the facility and placed him under arrest. Though the arrest reportedly takes place just off camera, Novak was reportedly handcuffed and led outside by federal agents. According to the report, investigators with the Chillicothe Police Department began looking into Novak in February 2023 after a tip was sent to a detective via Facebook claiming that an account associated with Novak had been associated with child grossness. Authorities reportedly obtained and executed a search warrant on Novak's home. During a subsequent interview with detectives, police said that Novak admitted to buying grossness from another user on a social media app, Snapchat. However, Novak reportedly told the detectives he did not know that any of the videos would contain child grossness. Sir, they have hubs for the things, and those are free. So if you're buying some stuff, it was some gross, disgusting ridiculousness, okay? As investigators continued to press Novak, he reportedly confessed that he had purchased the videos knowing what they contained, then made an effort to cover up his crime. Godoy. Novak is currently in detention at Ross County Jail in Ohio. I'm sure he's not telling anyone why he's there. He's like, I was stealing while I was bowling, okay? It's not immediately clear if he had a set amount for bond. He is currently scheduled to appear in court on March 21st for a pretrial hearing. Despite having to withdraw from the US Open competition due to his arrest, Novak reportedly bowled well enough to finish 36th in the event, garnering a total of $1,500 in prize money. Well, I guess you win some, you lose some, dingus. Are you what? No, take that money and give that to victims of this kind of child grossness. Do not give this dingus any money. From the Babylon Bee, because I thought this was hilarious. Aw, a gender studies grad writes thank you in a latte for a plumber who paid for her student loans. Austin, Texas. A bridge was built between two worlds today as a grateful gender studies graduate artfully wrote, quote unquote, thank you in latte art for a plumber who paid her student loans. The hardworking plumber who was stopping to grab a coffee before heading off to another 12-hour workday barely noticed how the barista graciously thanked him for all the time he spent clearing clogged drains and sticking his arm down sewer pipes so she could no longer have to worry about paying off her own debt. Quote, I want him to know how appreciative I am, said Summer Grayson, she, her. It was totally overwhelming to think would have to spend so many years working and paying off the loans I racked up while obtaining my gender studies degree, especially since I can't really get any type of gainful employment that makes any use of such a degree. Once I realized how long it would take me to pay off my loans working as a barista, I felt helpless and hopeless. Thankfully, President Biden made it so this plumber guy will have to pay my debt. Thanks, plumber guy. The plumber, Dave Murphy, declined to comment, citing his need to get to work so he could fit in a couple of extra jobs during the day in order to keep feeding his family while fulfilling his obligation to pay for Grayson's student loans. At publishing time, Grayson had spun the cash register's tablet around to allow Murphy to add a tip to his purchase of the $8 latte. I don't know why that tickled me so much, but I love the Babylon Bee. Now, I can only say that whoever did this is just terrible. I went to McDonald's for late night ice cream. I was stunned by the frosty surprise. I scream, you scream, we all scream at this scene. When it comes to a silky soft or sweet soft serve, most fast food fiends would argue that McDonald's gets it right if they're lucky enough to find a location with a functioning ice cream machine, that is. But when a Goodies gourmand pulled up to the Mickey D's drive-through for a late night bites and licks of a vanilla cone, the woman was absolutely slack-jawed by the not so tasty treat she was handed. Quote, "Tell me why I came to McDonald's and asked for ice cream at 2:03 in the morning," ranted displeased diner Brandy McRoy to TikTok audience of over 400 and 3 no, 403,000 K viewers. They did not give her a cup of ice with some coffee creamer. You know what? Whoever did this, you have my smart ass appreciation. We salute you, smart ass. Quote, "He gave me ice and cream," she griped while holding a cup of cubed ice chunks topped with several containers of coffee creamers. Oh my Lanta, this is hilarious. The punny, albeit funny business, sent social media spectators cackling. Quote, "Oh, so McDonald's workers got jokes," laughed a fan of the lighthearted stunt. Quote, "Is he drunk or are you?" Another commenter teased. "Dude was creative with it. He's going places," chuckled an equally tickled onlooker. But others felt McRoy got her just desserts. "Well, you gotta be specific about what type of ice cream you want," said an unsympathetic sneerer. Quote, "Y'all are wrong going to McDonald's thinking the ice cream machine is actually working," another scolded. True. This is just hilarious. Unfortunately for anyone with a sweet tooth, McDonald's is becoming better known for its malfunctioning ice cream machines than its Big Macs and fries. In fact, frustrated foodies rolled out the McBroken app in October 2020. The digital directory offers chow hounds an automated account of which Arches huts actually have working ice cream machines. Quote, I just made it for fun, said app creator Rashik Zahid upon the site's debut, but people were like, wow, this is the best thing I've seen this entire week. And now people who love McDonald's are just as buzzy over the sight of the chain's logos being plastered upside down on everything from McRoy's ice cream cup to its Aviator X or its avatar on X. Yes, Wick Donald's is coming, but it's no hamburglar mischief. Introduced in its latest WcDonald's campaign, the world-renowned Greasy Spoon has adopted a W as its new emblem as a nod to the art of manga and anime. The artful rebrand, which debuts nationwide on February 26th, is set to include limited edition packaging and a new sauce, also a series of Wick Donald's anime shorts. Quote, anime is a huge part of today's culture, and we love that our fans have been inviting us into the conversation for years, said Tariq Hansen, Chief Marketing Customer Experience Officer at McDonald's US. I am going to cut this off a little short. Apparently, someone is losing his mind. So I will be on Shizzy. You are all being directed to Shizzy. I need to make sure that someone's actually going to take a shower with soap, which I don't know why I need to say that, but apparently I do. So mom has to go down and tell someone, the youngest, most feral, that you have to stand underwater and use soap because apparently when dad says it, it's losing their mind time. But I will be right back with Shizzy here in just a minute. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Sorry it's a little quicker tonight, but I have to go put the little mom, look, so someone will get right back into line. I will see you guys in just a little bit. Bye, guys.